welcome everybody that's joining online, anyone that's watching it, our recordings. I think we're up to week 6 of our e-commerce and social media workshops with Brand Catalyzer. And today we are talking about WeChat, which is a lot more than just a chat platform, which we're going to find out today. So I'll introduce the team. We've got Christy from Brand Catalyzer, and we've got a special guest, Kevin, who I'll let Christy introduce when you're ready.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kate, and thank you for whoever is joining us live or watching this video later on. So I think this is coming to the workshop 6, and we are talking about in depth about how you can leverage the WeChat, especially the whole ecosystem under the WeChat function, and also especially the WeChat app that to empower your current business onshore and offshore. And we're lucky enough today that to have Kevin from WeChat, who is the Director of Partnership of WeChat Pay Oceania, to join us this workshop as the guest speaker. And he will share us very in depth of the information about the whole WeChat Pay and also the WeChat ecosystem, that to guiding you through what sort of the opportunities that you can leverage on from the WeChat side to increase your business revenue streams, and also especially for the wineries that you have a destination location in Victoria, which is really going to be benefit from. Awesome. So this is a kick up for the today's. I think you are pretty much familiar with who we are as a Brand Catalyzer, and if you have any question in regards to the export market, this is where we're here for. And yes, maybe Kevin can go through the slide going quickly.
There you go.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, everyone has seen those like for Brand Catalyzer information, so I won't spend too much time on those. We'll just go straight into the workshops for the today's topic, which talking about the overview of the WeChat ecosystem, and also how do we utilize the whole function for the e-commerce success. And before doing that, just quick in-depth intro for Kevin. So Kevin has a decade of experience in marketing within the Chinese digital ecosystem. And having said that, he actually speaks fluent Mandarin, and he's lived in China for a long time. I'm off the script now, but yeah, I think this is also making Kevin has very knowledgeable in terms of the business in China, and also how to help the business leveraging the WeChat to run onshore and offshore business. And also Kevin's team, he's running a lot of the program that for the business in Australia, especially in Victoria, that can leverage on to increase your visibility towards the Chinese consumers category, as in like the visitors there who are traveling from China to Australia, because this is still very big important influence of your overall brand awareness. But also given the current dynamic, I think the more and more travelers are coming to Australia, which is a really good I think good things that you probably would say from your wineries, that there's more travelers, visitors from China. So how can you capture those kind of leads? This is where Kevin today will show you some of the examples and quick things that you can put in and plug into your business. But yeah, I will let the Kevin to give us a quick overview intro about the WeChat side. Thank you, Kevin. Over to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Christy. Hi, can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I know, yeah, great to be here, presenting to Wine Victoria. Yeah, as Christy said, Kevin Shimoda, I work for WeChat. I've been actually with WeChat for about 10 years. In the last 2 years, been leading partnerships in Oceania and focusing on Australia and New Zealand. And so I mostly work with banks to enable those kind of POS terminals and enable WeChat Pay functionality there. But I also, that's a lot of offline. Then I also work with online. And I think wine, you guys do both. You have your location destinations, vineyards that you can have sell wine at destination, you can sell food, you have accommodations, and then you have online booking for accommodations, and then you might ship wine to people in Australia or even overseas. So we're going to try to talk about a lot of those different things today, and what WeChat Pay can offer. Tiny bit about me. I'm obviously from the States, but I moved here about 5 years ago. I met a lovely Aussie lady, and that's why I'm here. So just a tiny bit about me. And then, yeah, I speak Mandarin. I'm pretty much one of the only non-Chinese in WeChat. But now, yeah, focus on WeChat Pay. And I'll have my contact information at the end. So love to hear from you. We love wine. We love supporting wine. And now that it's even easier to export to China, it's something we really want to support, and we really want to help that market build back up. And that's why we're here, supporting Wine Victoria, supporting Brand Catalyzer to help all of this happen. So few workshop objectives is, one is to help Victorian wine companies or Wine Victoria and your membership companies understand WeChat as a marketing and social media tool. WeChat, first and foremost, is a communications app. It's kind of like a Facebook. It's a communication social media app, and then payments is added in later, but makes everything run really smoothly. It makes e-commerce smooth and easy. Two is understand how you can leverage WeChat Pay to increase your volume to the Chinese market. And that can be the Chinese market or the national Chinese that live in Australia, but it can also be back in China, so exporting. And then three is understand basically what support and resources you can get from our team here in Australia. So online today, we got myself, Kevin, but then we also have Spike. His name says Kevin Shimoda because I just gave him my same link, but he's also online, and you'll be able to contact both of us afterwards. And we're both based in Sydney. So first and foremost, a little bit about Tencent, because WeChat Pay is a part of WeChat, which is a part of Tencent. Tencent's one of the biggest tech companies in the world and probably the biggest in China. And so I know this is about wine, and so this will feel very almost off topic, but we just got to introduce ourselves a little bit so you understand, because we're a big company and we do a lot of different things. We have a lot of different products. We're in videos, we're in music, and mostly all in the China market. We are a big access point for the Chinese market. So we do a lot of different things. You see WeChat Pay at the bottom, like kind of north towards the bottom right. But at the center of everything is social. And that's WeChat, QQ. It's where Chinese are spending a lot of their time interacting with each other. And that's why WeChat, first and foremost, is a big marketing platform to access the Chinese market, to communicate with people, because this is where people are kind of hanging out digitally. So that's Tencent. Then WeChat is one of Tencent's products, but probably its biggest and most important. WeChat is we call it a lifestyle app, but it's a chat app. It's where people chat with each other. And then WeChat Pay is an embedded digital wallet within that chat app. So Chinese use WeChat all the time. We have 1.3 billion monthly active users, and they use it to chat, pay, shop, share, watch. And WeChat Pay is targeting the Chinese. WeChat Pay is only used in Australia by Chinese nationals, but WeChat itself is actually usable by Australians, and it's usable by everyone overseas. So you can use it to chat and engage anyone, even other Australians and anyone. But the payment side of things is only Chinese nationals, and that's renminbi. And I'll have a slide on that later on. But yeah, this is where Chinese kind of do everything. And this is where they spend a lot of their time. So this is the first slide that's very relevant to, this is specifically for you guys in the wine industry. So one thing that China is, it's kind of special to China, is chats are a lot bigger. You see it start happening in the West, where Facebook had a chat, feature, and then it rolled that feature out into Facebook Messenger, and now everyone uses Messenger, they use WhatsApp, and chats have become bigger in the West. But it used to be a lot of things on Facebook and just kind of sharing to everyone. Now chats are getting really big. This is actually a follow-on of what is originally already really popular in China. And chats are kind of king in China. And so we call that in China, we call it private traffic, 私域流量. private traffic or personal traffic. It's more of that intimate traffic. It's just chats directly. And you have a lot of direct chats or group chats of hundreds of people. And it'll be something like this example of, so there's more of a AVL wine lovers group. So Australian Vintage Limited wine lovers group. And they go, we all love wine. Pretend this is just a demonstration that we made. So pretend this is like 200 people and you go, hey, we got a new wine coming out. Who wants some? And someone will go, oh, I want it. Then you can then someone would personally message them and then follow through for the order process. This is something that you really see become standard in China, and it's also happening a lot overseas. It's a lot more intimate. It's part of that direct to consumer DTC kind of trend. And so this is something that a lot of people take advantage of overseas. And it's kind of like, I guess the equivalent I can think of is in the West is you have real estate agents that will just have a bunch of friends and just a bunch of friends' phone numbers and the big network of friends. And whenever someone's buying a house, they know the right people. That similar thing happens over WeChat, but almost at a bigger scale. And it's a lot of business models are based on that. So this is something that vineyards could take advantage of, having their own personal accounts or having business accounts, and then having a network of people that have visited their vineyard and who become their ambassadors, and then back in China or across Australia, have group chats endorsing and kind of evangelizing for your wine brand. Okay, and then, but WeChat's obviously a lot more than just chats. WeChat's a massive ecosystem. It's called a super app, was what they called it, what the kind of market has called it. It has Moments, which is kind of like a Facebook wall. It's a social networking system, or SNS, where you just share to everyone, all your friends. Subscriptions are or official accounts are where a business is based on WeChat, and that's where you can gain followers. Channels, you can also kind of gain followers. So that's a short form videos. Mini programs are where you can kind of make just about anything. It's like a mini app, and you can even have e-commerce in there. So a lot of features. Vineyards across Australia, a lot of these will just be kind of too big, and that's why you might just start off with just making your own account or trying to make your own or account specifically for your business, just to start off and start gaining a network on WeChat. But there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of depth in this ecosystem.
And also, thanks,
Go ahead.
Kevin. Before we move there, I just wanted to highlight, like, if you have follow us from the first workshops to now, you probably have been informed of a lot of those superpower functions that WeChat ecosystem has, even though maybe you only access to like the WeChat account, that's your personal account that communicating with your existing distributors or resellers, but still on top of that, there's so many other functions that as a business that you can leverage on. And it's coming down from what we talked about previously, from brand perspective, what you can leverage WeChat to building your kind of like a brand window towards the China market. As you aware that most of the Chinese consumers are not super used to like go onto the website or just check on like how people in Australia do. But WeChat official account has been kind of like regards as the brand official site for Chinese consumer to know the first-hand information about this product, the brand, everything. So it has been regarded as the brand official site in China. And then a lot of the other functions as the moment or channels is more like the social media functions that as the brand that you can spread out more information that become like a feed to the WeChat people that who can see what's going on with this brand, and it can be shared from the brand side or also can be shared with your friends and family. And so it's a very kind of like a closed group that you can interact with your contact that within the WeChat. And another one, the mini program, is more like the empower all the brands that who can leverage this function to building their mini app, that whether it's e-commerce or whether it's a loyalty program or whether it's a brochure. So we've seen a lot of the business, a different type of the category that they leverage the mini program to enable their overall business experience to be smoother and still within the WeChat ecosystem. So as the consumers, it's easier for them to close the loop. Like the touch point is very streamlined in the WeChat, from the chatting with the sales and then to place the order from the mini program and also pay through the WeChat Pay. So this is the everything within the one app. This is why in China we call like a WeChat as a super app. And also, of course, that there's a very different way that you can work on, as what Kevin has mentioned about the private traffic. I believe most of your distributor has been kind of like managing those groups on behalf of your brand, or maybe themselves already have a lot of those groups that they communicating towards their reseller. So this, you can see this as your CRM system that most of the business in Australia probably using Salesforce or Hotstar. So those kind of the system. But in China, so WeChat has been used kind of like in a way as the CRM to manage your consumers' relationship, and also as Kevin mentioned, any update, anything. So the group owner, what we saying as the admin, that who's managing those relationship on as always on, and different group can perhaps have a different purpose and also different regions, so you can segment those groups as you like. But it's just very much the most powerful private traffic now in China, which is really kind of like an exclusive. Only if you are in those group, then you'll be able to receive this information. So slightly different from some other channels. Other social media channels are more like a public. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chrissy. Those are great points. I think it's really important to emphasize how different chat groups are on WeChat and within the kind of China context. It's when I use Messenger here in the West, you have the group chats. The biggest you get is like 10 to 20. It's really rare you go any larger, maybe 30 for some big events, and then not too many people talk. But in China, you'll have like maybe, I think I have a friend that has like 50 group chats, all with about 300 to 400 people. And it's kind of fine. It's normal. They just mute all of them, and they only really look when they're added, or when they want to post something, or when they're just kind of bored and looking at it. And so it becomes like a CRM. So it's hard I think it's kind of hard for me to imagine with like thinking at it from like outside of China. But once you see it, it does kind of work, and it makes sense. It's WeChat makes it all a lot more manageable. And just kind of going a bit off script, thinking about what Christy was saying, I actually had a flatmate that sold wine in China, and I lived with him for a year and a half. He sold Malbec, and he was from Argentina, and he had a large book. He'd been in China for about 8 years. He had a large book of kind of friends and distributors that sold wine across China, and then he'd go and have events with them and kind of help them promote his wine. And he just had a lot of these different group chats. Each time it would be kind of him and then one of his distributor, and then they have like 300 of their kind of big fans, and then he would just kind of chat in those different group chats to kind of keep that I guess like keep that feeling of intimacy. When I think about wine, 2 points kind of come to mind, and one is that intimacy and exclusivity, where you have that close personal touch point, but it's also that feeling of exclusive, like you're within this circle of trust, or that club. And the second point is authenticity. And I think for the first part, the private traffic is really big. And for the second part, kind of having a touch point lets you know that it's authentic. It's from that place of origin. But then what Chrissy was saying, you have that official account, and that's the authenticity of the brand. And that can be really important, because you know that it's the real deal. It's that wine from that place and not a fake.
Absolutely. And also another very important thing for people for WeChat has been becomes such an important app is the WeChat Pay, because like for example, my parents, when they go out nowadays, they never bring their wallet anymore. They don't need it to. Everything's paid through their phone. I think if you've been to China, you're probably aware the whole country is becoming paperless, or the digital money world.
Cashless.
Yeah, so one big reason is seeing the WeChat has introduced the WeChat payments functions a long time ago to really digitalize the whole money transaction. And this is why like now you can't really go anywhere in China without having your WeChat account and we linked to your WeChat Pay, and then the WeChat Pay linked to your bank account. So yeah, this is how important of this app is.
Yeah, and as Christy was saying, you don't really have to leave WeChat. You do the marketing here, you follow the official account, you chat, then you can jump to e-commerce or even a website within. You can even kind of open up a website within WeChat in the web browser there and make purchases, and then go back to the chat, confirm, etc. And we have some examples of that. So keep moving forward. This is good commentary. Thanks, Christy. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit about so we talked about a lot about what WeChat looks in China, and that does kind of expand here because Chinese nationals here in Australia will continue to have a lot of those same kind of, I guess they still have that same mannerisms, or how they use WeChat can be really similar over here. But then looking at over here in Australia, WeChat covers pretty much 90%, probably even more of the Chinese nationals in Australia. I think it'd be really hard to find a Chinese national in Australia that doesn't have WeChat. I think it'd be, very hard to find. And then who are main users of WeChat Pay especially is tourists and students, and then residents. So Tourism Australia had about tourists and students spending about almost 13 billion Australian dollars pre-COVID. It's about that same amount, but then we also have residents, the 1.4 million Chinese Australians, about 5% of Australia, who not all are Chinese nationals. Most kind of give up citizenship at some point, but they might still have money in China, and that's what WeChat Pay is. It's money from China being spent over here in Australia. So there's even bigger than that $13 billion pot. But then again, for you guys, this opportunity can feed into exporting, because they can share to friends back home, and then they can buy overseas. And then our WeChat Pay users in Australia are, the biggest segment is young married women. So you have about 60% females, 65% are married. And then again, tourists, students, overseas Chinese. And then, so just to understand what the target is with WeChat Pay, it's Chinese nationals. So that's money from China in renminbi or Chinese new yuan. And then that's sent to what I partner with, which is a lot of the major banks. And then they send AUD to what we call the merchant or the business. So then it's important to note that we're not targeting kind of Australians with WeChat. We're targeting Chinese nationals with WeChat that have money in China. And this makes it really easy for Chinese nationals to spend over here. So it's not just convenience in terms of it's on your phone. It's convenience in terms of they don't need to transfer money here to Australia and then get out cash and then spend money. They can just spend money directly from China. Kind of like, as a Westerner, if I go to Thailand, I can just swipe Visa or MasterCard, and I'm spending Australian dollars or US dollars, but then the merchant over there is getting Thai baht. And then, so these are the different partners we have. We have a lot of different payment partners. The first step for WeChat Pay is actually being able to accept WeChat Pay, either offline or online. And then we have a lot of different promotions we can do with you. So some of these acquirers on the top are ones we work with. Our newest and biggest one is one of the big four banks, which is ANZ, ANZ Worldline. And then, so this is what their terminal looks like on the side. They now accept WeChat Pay both offline, so in-store or online. That would be the first step. And then once you do have WeChat Pay, we have a lot of marketing resources we can give you to help give you traffic, kind of drive attention to your brand. And that's what we're going to go through now. So we have this thing called WeChat Pay Gift Pack, and it's where we're all about coupons to kind of drive traffic. So I'm holding one of the things right now. It looks weird on the screen because it's transparent and it's crystal. We have this version. I basically have two. We have this version, but wine is a bit fancier and luxurious, so we go with the fancy clear one. It just looks weird in photos, so I'm showing it to you now. Chinese national or in one of our users would scan this, and then that pops up on their phone where the coupons are. They can get a discounts. Normally we do a better exchange rate discount, and then it's automatically redeemed at payment. So they automatically get a discount, and you, the merchant, you, the business, still get the same amount of money. So I have a little video of what this looks like. This is at a supermarket, so not as nice as fancy as wine, but I think it's a good video.
The total is $8.48. Okay. So can I use WeChat Pay? Oh yes, we can also get a coupon in WeChat. Oh cool. So I'll just scan the coupon. Yes, please. It's ready for you. Wow, cool. Yeah. And the total is $8.48 when you're ready. Okay. Wow, I get a better exchange rate. Really good. Wow. It's a really good price. It is, it's really a good price. You still get the coupon. Hey, is this accepted? Would you like the receipt? Yeah, thank you.
So in the video, you can see Betty, that's actually my colleague in New Zealand. She scans, that's a supermarket in New Zealand. So, but I think my team over there, we made a good video. So it's scan that, they get a coupon, and then that coupon gives them a better exchange rate, and they see how much they were spending, and then that's automatically redeemed. And then we have even better exchange rates and even better coupons that will happen during different holidays. So if you sign up, you basically just sign up to us once. You just tell us that you have WeChat Pay and you want to do promotions, and we'll send you stuff. And then different holidays, Chinese New Year, Golden Week, May 1st. I don't even know the other ones. Zhongqiujie, the Mid-Autumn Festival, we have online. We'll kind of upgrade your foreign exchange rate coupon, and you'll get better discounts. So what that kind of looks like is, if it's 100 Australian dollars, it would normally be 500 Chinese New Yuan. But then with that exchange rate discount, the user will pay 480, and we subsidize that 20 renminbi difference. So you still get the 100 Australian dollars. So it's just discounts to the user. And Chinese think about exchange rate a lot, because they're over here and they're thinking about the renminbi. They're thinking about it all the time. So it's something they really like, and incentivizes them to spend more because we have no upper limit on that foreign exchange discount. So then I just want to also add, this is kind of a good way to test and grow the China market. So you have this gift pack, and we set it all up for you. Really simple way to just start testing things out. And then once you start realizing, oh, I'm getting a lot more Chinese audience than I thought, because you'll be able to see it in the WeChat Pay transactions and the number of coupons that are used. And then you can go, wow, we're actually a lot more popular with the Chinese market than we thought. And then you can contact a marketing agency like Brand Catalyzer to go, okay, let's make this bigger. So you start with this to test things out, or it even helps drive, or it can even help drive your existing WeChat presence. So Chrissy was talking about earlier, you have an official account, which is a way to have followers and your authenticity in your brand platform. Well, they can scan the QR code, get to your kind of gift pack page and get coupons, but then they could click on, this is Lotte as an example at Duty Free Store. They can click on that, and then it takes them to the official account, and then they gain followers. So it can drive your marketing KPI. And that's where WeChat is the biggest marketing platform in China. So then this is where the WeChat Pay can help drive your marketing and help kind of that long-term connection with the users, with your consumers. Yeah, go ahead, Chrissy.
Sorry, no, I think I just wanted to call out that currently, I think the timing of having this workshop is really good because we are running towards the Christmas time now. There will be a lot of the travelers that are coming from China during the New Year time as well. So if your wineries or your destination in Victoria that has this capability to hosting those kind of the tourism, I think this is a really good tactic that to apply into your current destination practice to really enable a better experience for the Chinese consumers when they're coming to Australia. And because wineries is such a big thing to travel in Australia, especially in Victoria. So those are the touch point that you can start to building for your brand. And whether your brand already selling in China or about to sell in China, those are the really important engagement that you can have easily with the Chinese consumers. So we've seen a lot of the examples, and later I will share a case study for you as well. So those touch points, even though at that time it's not going to build a huge impact for your long term, for your immediate sales in China, but still it's going to be kind of like the push and pull strategies that we talked about earlier, that you need to really leveraging the presence that you have in Victoria, the wineries itself, and also when they're going to visit your wineries, they say, oh, this is a whole new experience that they can join to really understand your wine, your brand, your estate of, or the whole experience onshore. And also when they're going to the Dan Murphy in Australia, they see, oh, your wine is also selling from those grocery shop, and all of those engagement can be purchased through the WeChat Pay. And then when they're going back to China, they were still wanting to purchase your wine, for example, then they can come into your WeChat account if you have later on. That is the whole journey can be linked up towards your end consumers in China. And of course, if you worked with any distributor there, so the distributor would do all of those engagement through their private chat and the groups that we talked about previously. So this is the whole push and pull that we think is really important if you have a presence in Victoria.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also, I think what Kevin's team is really good at is you might have concern of how does this money transfer, whether it be have any like exchange rate difference and all of those. I think this is where Kevin's team is here to helping you to make sure that you receive the money in your Australian bank when the payment probably is coming from China or coming from the Chinese bank. So all of those things the WeChat Pay team has helping you to solve this out.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think, well, I know with with Wine Victoria, you guys help. You have so many different members, so many different vineyards. Some have a lot of presence in China, some have none, some are just checking things out. So there's so many different levels of involvement, I guess. And so and the official account is that's a good place if you do have a lot of distributors in China and they have a bunch of different personal chats. Having an official account for them to show that authenticity, and that can help you grow your followers and something that you as the wine brand can own, because you want to have that, maintain that control over your own brand. Okay, yeah. So I was just gonna go next slide. This is a bit overwhelming slide, but the general idea is, as we kind of said, it can be a closed loop ecosystem. You can do marketing there with all these different types of things. A lot of that brand catalyzer can do for you and with you. Then you can do conversion. It can be in-store, it can be online. It can even be within the chats. And like, that's what a lot of your distributors are probably doing in China. And then you have referrals, where then that's another big thing I've noticed with wine is you just have so many people that, Chinese especially, are really big referring culture and kind of referring to friends. I think the Chinese recommendations is almost double what kind of Western recommendations are, and it's doubly powerful. They listen to each other's recommendations a lot. They really kind of trust their friends with those recommendations. So that's this ecosystem, and this is really kind of an almost overwhelming slide. So to kind of back it up, it's what are the steps to kind of being involved? And the first one is just accepting, for our part, it's just accepting WeChat Pay here in Australia or online. In getting for offline, it's getting that FPOS terminal, being able to accept WeChat Pay. Then once you do that, you just tell us, okay, I want to be involved in some of the marketing stuff. We'll send you one of these to put up, and this is all free. This is all completely subsidized by us. You send us your brand, or if you don't have a brand, you just tell us where to send it. We'll send you this stuff. It's all free, and then the coupons are all subsidized by us. We'll send this to your location, and we can even give you stats on usage. And then you can move on to the official account if you don't already have one. And then later on, you can go to a mini store with mini programs. This is a lot of stuff that Brand Catalyzer can enable for you. And then, oh yeah, okay. So I have this slide now. So if you want to email me, this is the first time I'm trying this out. I tried to make a QR code that you just scan it and it just starts an email saying hi. So if you want WeChat Pay and you're not really sure if your bank, your acquiring bank, has it or how to offer, you might already have it. So if you're with ANZ, you can just upgrade to the latest and it will have WeChat Pay. This is for the offline places. And if you don't, if it might depend on if you're with Adyen, for example, that's the thing you can just turn on, so we can help you out with that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't really know what an acquiring bank is, that's again something we can help you out with. So just shoot me an email, and we can connect with you and help you out. Again, we really want to help out wine kind of come back into the fold, especially in Victoria, that it was closed off for so long. We really want to make it happen again. Then I know that was like kind of a closing one, but this is my segue slide because this is Cherry Hill's case is actually Brand Catalyzer's case. And it was one of the first cases I saw in Australia that I really liked. I give an overview of it, and then Chrissy's going to be able to go into a lot more details about it. So, and this is a nice example of that official account in mini program. So Brand Catalyzer helped Cherry Hills that sells cherries. So that's a kind of location destination, and you can have farm visits, which is really similar. Everything here is really similar to wine, which I really like, but it's like, so you can go and visit the farm or the vineyard. On the products, they have QR codes. And then they had collaboration brands, which they had their cherries in milkshakes or the bubble tea. And all of these can lead to the official account of the brand. And there you can see product updates, it's authentic, you can see promotions, and then you can actually leads to ordering things on the mini store. And then they had product tracking by Lava ID, which is actually a cool little Australian company that we recently met at one of the workshops. And that's an ID that allows the user to kind of see it through that whole logistics. And it just, again, adds that authenticity, which is so important for Chinese, knowing that they're getting the actual product that they actually ordered. And this was Brand Catalyzer had set it up so you could order this in Australia and get it shipped anywhere in Australia, but you could also order it back in China. And it was all, most of these, you could just do it all by WeChat Pay. So it's all just really easily done while you're visiting here as a tourist, and then you go back in China, and then you can just be ordering things really easily without going to all these different platforms. So I'll let Christy take it from here and kind of go deeper into that and what she does.
Amazing. Thank you, Kevin. I think you pretty much summarized the whole journey and very good case studies there. We thought it's worth to share with everyone because I think it's a very iconic examples of representing most of the wineries are having those kind of the asset as the destination tourism, and also the similar challenges that you might have facing. And those are the solutions that from WeChat, different aspects of a function and the tools that we can use to leverage and solving the problem, and also creating a much smooth experience for the brand towards the consumers. But yeah, I will quickly share you the case study. Kevin, next slide, please.
Yep.
So for Cherry Hill, I think most of people are probably aware that they are 80 years owned family business in Australia down the Yarra Valley, actually. So they have a very nice farm there. Every season they have cherry blossom as a tourist sightseeing attractive that people can visit, whether it's onshore and international visitors. It's one of the iconic kind of like a festival that we've worked with the Cherry Hill to creating those kind of IP. But on the side that they also have a very famous the cherry product to sell to internationally as well as the locally, of course. So this is the product they have. But on top of the cherries, they also have their beverage that they produce on the side with the cider, cherry cider, and also they do have some cherry wine as well. But in overall, like this business has some objective they want to achieve when we start working with them. So they want to promote as a top travel destination to attract more travelers to visit this destination, because this is still one of their revenue streams that to grow the business. And the second one is they want to establish the Cherry Hill cherry as an iconic fresh fruit brand. It's really good to see that as a fruit, they're trying to create a brand, because not many fruit actually becoming a brand. I think Cherry Hill is one of them. And also the third one is to increase the cherry boxes sales in China, just from the business perspective, because the export boxes generally they are selling more than domestically. The challenges that they have is for Cherry Hill, they have been, I think it's very similar to all those fresh fruit categories. So a very short shelf life, and also they are very competitive from all the rest of the world's cherry brands or cherry, whether it's from US or from Chile. So they have a huge competition in China. And also from the business internally, they have very limited internal resource to manage all kind of the aspect of the business stream and also the market. So this is the brief that we received from the brand, and to really working towards that. And the strategies that we promote from Brankelai's end is to, at the first step, that we did a very in-depth market research to really understand what's the current issue of the business, and also what's the pain point from the consumers. So we did all the surveys and a focus group and a feedback, because to solving the problem that we have with all the challenges that we are facing with the Cherry Hill is not only one problem. There are many perspectives, like the destination, the product itself, and also the building the brand. So it's a 3 level of the challenges that we need to solve. But how can we do that? We need to really understand what's the current status, and also what's the pain point of the consumers. So we've done a really in-depth information and analysis of the current status, and we work as a team with the Cherry Hills team to workshop out what sort of the solutions that could looks like. So this is just a quick snapshot of all those strategies that we did. It's actually like a 3-month project that we did before we come up with a solution, because a lot of the funding that we found from the research actually it's like a new information for the business. This is why one of the tactics that we implemented later on, as Kevin mentioned, to have this lava ID, because it's really I think important for consumers to know what they are paying as the premium price. The cherry box that they received is actually 100% authentic, that coming from the Cherry Hill farm, because there are so many I would say the fruit itself is really hard to differentiate whether it's produced from Australia or whether it's produced from Chile. So at the time, I think during this season, it's really difficult for people to understand, okay, when I purchased Australian cherry, are they actually coming from Australia, or are they coming from the Cherry Hill? So the Lava ID enabled the consumer to tracking every steps of the production, and also the season, when did they box this fruit, and how long does it take to arrive in to the hand. So this is the very kind of like a transparent tools that for business to have to give the consumers the assurance. This can be a tactics that for your brand, if you're facing similar situation that the consumers are questioning your authenticity, or there was some like in the middle way there, because of for wine, it's very likely to happen that they can just rebottle your wine into different things. So you never know. But especially for those luxury wine, because people paying for a premium price, they need to ensure that this is actually the real wine that they are getting from Australia. So yeah, and so the strategy as the first step that we set up the brand presence on WeChat as the official site for Cherry Hill to communicate to the consumers, to promoting all three levels of their business, to promoting the destination, the Cherry Hill farm, and also to promoting the cherry box that they are selling to China, and as well as promoting the cherry blossom festival that they actually attracted lots of the tourism as well, and of course that they have a lot of the other product that has a much longer shelf time that they can promoting during the cherry off season. So another challenge for Cherry Hill they are facing is during those fruit season, which only has 3-month window. This is the only peak season that the cherry fruit can be sold in China or can be sold globally. But the off season is the period time that what they call as the off peak season, but they still have a lot of the other activities and the revenue streams that can promoting. So this is the centralized of the brand for Cherry Hill to engaging with their consumers directly, and also to engaging with their distributor directly. And also we build the advocacy through the influencers onshore and offshore. This is coming to the push and the pull strategy I mentioned previously. If you have your destination like a wineries in Victoria, it's really important to leverage those Chinese residents in Australia to helping you building the credentials and building the awareness onshore, because it's very easy for them to access to your brand, your product, your destination, and they can be your advocacies or influencer to promoting to their friends and family in China. And then you would say there's more people start to talk about your product in China, then that's the time that you can start to step into that market, because they already helped you to frame those conversations, to seeding those content and awareness in the market. And the third part, which is during those campaign season, we use the paid media to leverage and pushing those traffic to your conversion point, whether it's your destination travel or maybe it's just conversion of your product on the sales channel. So those are the 3 levels of the strategy and executions that we've done. But funny, I think for the next slides is it's just giving you the whole overall ecosystem and the different touch point of the consumers are engaging with your brand. This is examples that as Cherry Hill, so they have the official brand account that have all the information there, and at the same time that we have a WeChat mini store for Cherry Hill that consumers that can purchase the cherry box and also those cherry beverage, everything through this WeChat store. So previously, Cherry Hill only relies on their distributor to sell through China to the grocery store, to those everyday like a fruit store. But I think there's no transparency with those channels towards the Cherry Hill brand. And also another challenge for Cherry Hill is they only have those 3 months season, but they don't know how much production or the demand from the China could be. So having those mini store that we launched a pre-booking or pre-order functions for consumers in China as well as in Australia to pre-order their box. So this gives estimation sales volume for the Cherry Hill brands to kind of like a forecasted their production, because for fruit, once you package it up, you have to sell. Otherwise, it's going to go wasted. So this is a really good and useful function for Cherry Hill that they received from the business perspective, that they can better manage their stock and also better to manage their production line. And then the third part on the right side is within this QR code, which is really powerful. It can link you back to the Cherry Hill farm, and also link you to the Cherry Hill product, and also link you to the Cherry Hill box if you want to purchase directly. And also, of course, the collaboration campaigns are all happened within the WeChat, which as Kevin mentioned, that during those campaign season that we had some collaboration with the bubble tea. We launched the Cherry Hill cherry flavored bubble tea in the market, to really seeding those awareness in the market, to building this brand to be a well-known brand. And then people would realize, oh, it's actually really fun to engaging with this brand. They have the Cherry Hill farm, and also I can tasting those Cherry Hill bubble tea, and also during the season I can purchase my Cherry Hill box. So this is like a whole loop of the engagement that we've designed for the brand. So the next slide, Kevin. So those are the key tactics that we implemented through the whole campaign journey. So the first one, as I mentioned, the mini store, which is like your e-commerce store, but within the WeChat ecosystem, and you can manage directly, or your distributor can manage or supply the stock on behalf of your brand. And the second one, which is the level ID for the tracking program or tracking system. So each of the level ID QR code is sealed on the box. So the consumer received it, they can scan through those level ID app to tracking through when does this box has been packed, and where, or even like which area of the farm that this fruit is grown. So if you want to go down that granular detail. And also the third tactics that we applied is the cross-branding collaborations with a different or fun brand that can really engaging with the same group of the audience for you. And yeah, so this is the journey map that as a consumers that we've designed, pretty much like from the first touch point, whether they are in Australia. So I think this will be the first step, that the Chinese consumers in Australia, they will probably see the Cherry Hill bubble tea in the Chinatown, for example, and then they will start to searching on, what is this Cherry Hill brand is, and then they can go on to the WeChat account and just finding more details, and end up with probably purchasing a Cherry Hill box. So this is the very streamlined journey that you can actually copy and apply into your existing winery experience. And also the second one, touch point, is so when they saw a promotion of the Cherry Hill farm on those Blossom Festival, whether it's coming from the WeChat promotion or like the WeChat Pay campaign that Kevin's team is running. So when they saw those things within the WeChat, they will click directly going to the WeChat account for the Cherry Hill, and then of course there's a more option for them to engage. And the third one is maybe they purchased a Cherry Hill box in the local supermarket, and then on the Cherry Hill box, they have a QR code link back to the WeChat account. So this is all the engagement touch points that you can apply into your current business. If your wine or that particular label is selling in China, you can just add in additional touch point, have a very small like a QR code on the back of the label, so people can scan the QR code and going back to your WeChat account for more information. That is very simple, easy action that you can apply, so people know, oh, actually your brand has a more wide of the SKU, the ranges of the wine that I can enjoy. And the touch point 4, which is maybe they heard about or tried Cherry Hill cherries in China before, and then they want to purchase again. So how do they do that? They can just scan the QR code and go back to the WeChat mini store to purchase or pre-order the cherry. So this is a very simple, easy journey for different touch point that consumer could possibly have, and leading everyone towards the end of the conversion that you want them to be. Those are just like some examples of what we did through those campaign strategy and execution. So we did some collaboration with the Go Healthy, which one of the product they have is a Cherry Hill sleeping supplement. So we did those live streaming in the Cherry Hill farm because the collaboration was talking about cherry, the benefit of enjoying the cherry and the consuming the cherry. And the other side, on the right side, is we're actually during this campaign season, we collaborate with the 5 significant Chinese restaurants to introducing those Cherry Hill signature dishes. It covers from dessert to the drinks and also to the brunch. So this is all the touch point that consumers in China can recognize. Actually, there's a Cherry Hill brand. So this is the campaign idea and execution that we did. And the next slide is really showing the outcomes and the value of those money evaluations, like why do they need to invest this money in building this whole journey. I think for each of the wines similar, you're like when we're producing or when we're promoting the market, it's not those everyday cheap wine. It's very much like those high quality and good money for value, good value for money wine that people can appreciate. So we need to set really good branding for your brand that you can have those I would say the brand value that people are coming back to your brand again and again, because end of the day, there's so many choices for consumers. Why are they coming back to your brand? Apart from the taste, the quality of the wine, they need to remember your brand. They need to come to the supermarket and they're looking for exactly the brand I'm looking for. I just want for example, Fowles or Brown Brothers, because they remember the brand. So this is the key outcomes out of all the campaign activities and execution that we drive. From the brand awareness perspective, that we increased all the brand awareness, brand recall for people to remember Cherry. When they think about Australian Cherry, they think about Cherry Hill. And then is the return on investment. Of course, this is a really important measurement for us to actually measure the whole journey, and successfully we're able to drive very strong ROI for Cherry Hill, and also the market recognition for Cherry Hill has been increased from the onshore and offshore. And of course, the consumer trust is already there to build this the authenticity of the brand. Great. So those are just some key takeaway, of course, from Kevin's introduction about all of those different functions and element of the WeChat that you can leverage on. But I think the key takeaway is think about your current business structure, and also to asking whether you can leverage those WeChat function to just quickly enable a streamlined experience for the consumers or the visitors that are coming to your wineries during those wine tasting season. Can you add in those kind of the touch point for them to engage with your brand later on when they back to China, and how can they share those information to their friends and family? So this is all the tactics that you can quickly implement to your brand and also your wineries. But yeah, I think that's closer to all the sharing of the case studies that I have for you. Hope those are useful and you found you can take away something for your business for probably this coming Christmas time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Kevin. That was, for us, just a lot of information, but some very realistic ways and easy to follow ways that we can sort of start using WeChat. We've actually got an event, which you're well aware of, Christy, that's sort of in conjunction with CIIE in China next week with 67 Pao Mao. And interestingly, the invitation came out and I said, how do we RSVP, and found that little symbol. And that was sort of my first foray into WeChat scanning and mini programs, and RSVP was 100% through WeChat. And we've put together like a little mini program of all the wineries involved. So since then, I've sort of delved in and had a bit of a look at other groups, wineries that are on WeChat and little programs that they've run, and it's been fascinating. So I do encourage everyone to jump on, have a play. There is a translate function which doesn't work perfectly, but it's helpful enough that you can get a gauge of just how big this platform is and how big the opportunities are for wineries. So I want to thank you again, and just let everyone know again, I'm Kate, the Export Program Manager from Wine Victoria, and we will be recording this session and popping it up on our YouTube channel. it's a private link, so I will share that with everyone that's registered once it's gone up. So thank you again. If anyone's got any questions, we do have a minute or two if anyone's interested. Otherwise, we'll close off and see you all again next week.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing.
Thank you. And I know I already did a QR code once, but this is another QR code. I'd love to share.
Love it.
It's a
Perfect.
1-minute survey. It pretty much just asks, do you have WeChat Pay? But you can either QR code works, reach out, or just fill this out. We just want to get a read of who's actually using it out there. And yeah, so just to support everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin. And I can confirm that it works.
Yeah, beautiful,
And
beautiful.
the other one too. So
Okay, good.
appreciate that. Yeah, great. All
See you
right. Thanks,
soon.
everyone. Have a nice Friday.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Have a great